Welcome back. My name is Eric with Breezy Bee Metal, and I had went over before about my 3/4 grinder with the stand I made, but I didn't really go over the function of the multi-tool, like when it's in use, and then also with the wire wheel. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over where you get to see these operate, and then maybe my cameraman can come in and get some closer views when I start doing it. So I love this machine. The multi-tool is great. I actually made another belt grinder, but and it works really good. I made it myself, but that one is bigger, and this one over here has the wire wheel attached, and I use this machine almost every day. So when you have the two machines together, they usually, if you're going to work with one, you're also going to work with the other. So with the wire wheel, you can go ahead and you can kind of knock down, the rust off stuff, but the wires will only work so good. It may knock them down, but it doesn't totally get rid of them. So that's when you take it over here to the belt grinder, and you have this platen on top, so you actually can set stuff on there or whatever. I usually use it down here, and notice I use it underneath, because then this way the sparks and everything are shooting down instead of doing it up here where it ends up shooting them at you. So I just have a piece of scrap, and what I'm going to do is, whenever you use this machine, you always safety first, and I use it with the plastic shield. So you can see there's rust on here. Cameraman, come in a little closer. So you can see the metal. It's just a piece of scrap that I had laying over in the pile. So what we're going to do is, and the cameraman can stay there because I'm not worried about sparks hurting him. I'm worried about these wires that come shooting out. And this one's not that bad, but when you use a lot of them on the hand grinder, when you're done and you go inside, you're eating dinner here, next thing you know, you're pulling out wires that are stuck in your shirt and your pants and everything else. So this one's usually pretty good. But so we're going to use the wire wheel first, and after that we're going to go over and we're going to use that to smooth out these edges and take some of the sharp edges off it and grind this down a little bit more to raw metal. Okay, and as you can see, it removed all that rust. Now you can still feel the rust, so it's still on there. It just took the really easy surface rust off, but you can still feel the pitting because the wires will only work so good. We need another tool, we need a little more power. So that's when we're going to switch over, and we're going to go to the multi-tool belt grinder. And this one here, we're going to kind of feather those edges out so they're not sharp. These are pretty sharp. And then we can also kind of blast through this rust that's sitting up high on the metal. And notice when I was using the wire wheel, I was staying to the lower bottom portion. So this way the sparks or stuff gets thrown down here, and you can kind of control where you hold your piece. If you do it up high, if it catches it, it'll grab it, it'll throw it right to you. If it catches it down here, it'll probably throw it to the ground. So it's safer, always do it lower. So let's go to the next tool. comes up here, back or two, that's why usually I use it underneath. Okay, see how if I would have kept pushing on that, it would have kept eating and feathering it out and going down to clean raw metal. Now, I should have wore gloves too because this piece is getting kind of hot. So, you should wear gloves anyway. I should have put them on. Anyway, this is made by a company called Multitool. I think it's an Australian company. It's a good tool. And also, like on the side, you can put those stick-on discs. And then you can also use this as a sander, but I don't use that. I got different tools for that. But anyway, the one I ended up making before is a 2x72. This one's a different one. I can't remember what size, but I'll end up putting that in the description. But when it comes down, say, because this belt here is getting pretty worn. So when it comes down to changing this, what you do is, and it's been a while since I did this, I think you just push in on it. Let's see. See, and it'll lock it. And what you do is you take this off and you go ahead and you put a new one on. And you have to look, this one you can't tell because it's worn, but usually they'll tell you an arrow of which way this goes. So we know this goes this way. So you'd have to make sure that you put the arrow accordingly. So then you would just slip this on here. This goes on the back first, up here. And what you do now, there's a tracking on here to make sure it goes straight, but the tracking's already set. So once you get it on here, you probably won't have to. Let's try it. Yeah, it reset itself. So anyway, great tool. This one mounts really, it's universal. So if you have a grinder, and this one here is a 3/4 inch, I really wish I had a 1 horsepower because it would be better. This one here is a 3/4. So one of these days I'll end up getting a bigger one. I'll upgrade. But what you do is you take, because grinders usually come with 2 sides, you take off one of the sides, and this is a universal, comes with different mounts in there, and then you mount it to whatever grinder that you already have, and then there you go. You'll have a belt grinder to use. So if you want to turn around and look over here, I'll show you the one. I'll meet you over there. This is the one I made myself. Get some light. And I got too much stuff over here. I wasn't planning on using this, but let's make some room, and I'll just turn it on for a second. Let me go grab that piece of metal. So I made this myself, and I call it Godzilla, and you'll see why when the fire shoots out. Anyway, it looks like it's really difficult to make. It kind of was, but if you think about it, as long as all of these things are all in line perfect, it's gonna work. So it's been a while since I used it. It looks like the tracking's off. Menus up here. It's been a long time since I changed this belt too. Anyway, it was just a tutorial on the belt grinder. So any questions, feel free to ask. And then my name is Eric. This is Breezy Bee Metal. Make sure you thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.